In the belly of the beast, in the silence of the grave, I am tangled in the currents, I'm sinking in the waves. The weeds are wrapped around my head, the bars are closing in. I'm at the roots of every mountain, paying for my sin. I said I'm driven from your sight, I'm lost beneath the flood. But even in the crushing deep, I'm covered by your blood. The water's closed in over me to take away my breath. I reach the very bottom, at the iron gates of death. But when my life was fading, when my heart began to fail, I called out from my distress, and you answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol, you heard my lonely plea. You brought my life up from the pit, you broke the ancient cord. I was shouted to the heavens, salvation belongs to the Lord, to the Lord. You cast me to the ocean's heart, tied to your command. The billows pass right over me, far away from land. The empty idols promise hope, but leave the soul to die. They forsake the steadfast love that's fallen from the sky. But I will lift a grateful song, a sacrifice of praise. I'll pay the vow I made to you for all my living days. You spoke to the deep, you spoke to the dark, you spoke to the monster, held my heart. The land is right, airy, sweet. You placed the earth beneath my feet. I called out from my distress, and you answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol, you heard my lonely plea. You brought my life up from the pit, you broke the ancient cord.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into a set of sources that are both ancient and just incredibly relevant right now.
We really are. We've got excerpts from the Anthony B.T. audio Bible discussion group, and they spent a whole session wrestling with the Book of Jonah.
Just 4 chapters, but wow, they are packed.
They really are. And this is what's so great about this kind of source. We're not just reading a story. We're, listening in as people confront the text and find their own views being challenged.
Absolutely. The tension is just so universal, isn't it? I mean, why did Jonah run? What kind of obedience was God actually asking for?
And the big one, how do you deal with your own sense of justice when it clashes with, this idea of radical divine forgiveness?
That sets the stage perfectly. So our mission today is to unpack these really honest insights. I mean, everything from a prophet's, frankly, selfish frustration to a modern believer's story of a 2-year journey toward total obedience.
Right. It's all about trying to grasp what YHWH is inviting us, and you, the listener, into today. It's less about critique and more about transformation.
Yeah. It really forces you to ask, in what ways am I still running away? Okay, so let's unpack that first big conflict. The basic question is always, why did Jonah disobey? And you usually hear it's because he was afraid of Nineveh.
Right, that's the standard answer. But this discussion group, they went deeper. They identified a much more self-serving conflict at the heart of it.
And one of the participants, Moo, he just nailed it. He articulated this deeper fear so well.
He really did. Jonah wasn't just afraid they might kill him. He was actually afraid of what would happen if they didn't get destroyed.
Wow. Say more about that.
Well, Jonah was sent to deliver a death sentence, basically. You will perish. But, and this is the key, he knew God's character. He knew God is, gracious and compassionate, slow to anger.
So if he goes and preaches destruction, and then God, being God, forgives them, Jonah feels like he'll look like a liar. It's not physical fear, it's professional embarrassment.
Exactly. We have to pause on that liar concept. That's the whole thing. He wanted his prophecy to be fulfilled because it validated him. So when God came out as he used to, as Mu put it, and showed mercy, it was a deep personal disappointment.
And Mu takes it a step further, calling it a daily mindset.
Yeah.
That desire we all have to see people suffer for their consequences, especially when their actions don't line up with our personal worldview. He flat out says Jonah was selfish.
It's hard to hear, but it resonates. You know, it's hard to want grace for people you think deserve punishment.
Another participant, Richard, he had this incredible analogy for that feeling.
Oh yeah, the one about the lazy employees.
Exactly. He says it's like reporting truly negligent employees to your boss, putting in all this effort, and then the boss just gives them a talk and forgives them.
You feel like all your effort was for nothing. Jonah felt that frustration because his obedience led to an outcome he didn't want, which was forgiveness.
But the group also saw the flaw there, right? Because in Jonah's case, the city does repent. They change.
That's the critical step. His frustration isn't about their laziness, it's about God's mercy. He's not angry because they failed to respond. He's angry because they did respond and God accepted it.
Which brings us out of the theoretical and into the, the real world stakes. The conversation then shifted to just how dangerous Nineveh actually was.
It did. The facilitator posed this really heart reorienting question. It was brutal.
What was it again?
They asked the group, what if God asked you to go to the camp of this Boko Haram, to their actual headquarters where they plan attacks?
Wow, okay, that immediately grounds it. For our listeners, Boko Haram, that's synonymous with extreme brutal violence. That question instantly tells you what Nineveh represented.
And for two participants, Unu and Martins, this was not theoretical. They're based in Jos Plateau State, a region that's seen so much conflict.
Yeah, you could hear it in their voices.
Unu made the connection immediately. He admitted that his own heart struggles, wondering, all this fool or killing people, will God just forgive them like this? He said only people in that situation can understand wanting to feel things, personally, wanting retribution.
You can just feel the weight in that. It's such an honest struggle against that desire for revenge.
And then Martins, who had moved to Jos, talked about his own intense struggle back in 2017. He felt like he was running from one crisis right into another.
That struggle changed him, right?
It did. He said it helped him build a personal conviction that this life is really nothing. The difficulty had a purpose. It transformed him.
And that idea of transformation brings us to probably the most powerful part of the audio, the testimony from Indu.
Yes. His response to that Boko Haram question. It shows the exact change God is after.
So lay it out for us. What was his journey?
He was incredibly transparent. He said, flat out, there was a time in my life that I will not do it. And the reason was simple. I wasn't ready to die.
Which is completely understandable. It's the core of Jonah's own fear.
Exactly. But then he described this transformation. For 2 years, his whole prayer life shifted. He wasn't just accepting the idea anymore. He was actively asking God to send him wherever he wants and telling God, I will go.
So it wasn't a one-time decision. It was something he cultivated over a long period of time.
Right, and he says he's ready now. He said, I would go as far as I can confirm that is the God of heaven and earth that is sending me. His heart has been changed, as he put it, to mimic his own heart.
A heart that values saving the enemy over his own safety. That's huge.
It's everything.
And this idea of surrendering your own life, it connects to the actual mission itself. Think about the immense drama to get Jonah to Nineveh.
The storm, the fish, 3 days in the belly of a whale.
All of that. And then he finally gets there, and the facilitator pointed out how little he actually says. The human effort was almost, negligible.
It really was. The group looked at the verse, chapter 3, verse 4. The message was, at the end of 40 days, Nineveh will be overthrown. That's it.
The facilitator calculated it was maybe about 7 or 8 words.
Stop and think about that. All that divine discipline for a single sentence. It's breathtaking.
And the result was immediate. The whole city repented. Just like that.
The facilitator drove that point home. The entire turnaround happened as a result of those maybe about 7 or 8 words.
It's such a critical insight, isn't it? The power wasn't in Jonah's eloquence or his passion. It was entirely in the word of God.
God got the job done. The prophet was just a mouthpiece, a very reluctant mouthpiece.
And even then, God isn't done teaching him. Jonah goes outside the city, still hoping for destruction, and God gives him that plant for shade.
And Jonah is overjoyed about this plant. He literally cares more about this temporary plant than 120,000 human beings.
Then God takes it away, and Jonah is devastated. It's this powerful lesson in selective pity.
Exactly. God's final question to him is the ultimate rebuke. You pity this plant you did nothing for, and I shouldn't pity this great city. It shows God's compassion is universal, not selective like ours.
So pulling all these threads together, what does this mean for us today? The group really brought it home with that question. What are we struggling to do that God is asking of us?
That's the mirror right there. One participant, Josephine, she related directly to Jonah feeling like the bad guy. She talked about struggling during evangelism when people give her a cold shoulder.
And her honesty was so powerful. She admitted she thinks, I'm not being paid for this.
Yeah.
That impulse to quit when you don't get the result you want, it's a sign you're treating it like a transaction, not obedience.
And that it's about our effort. But the conversation went even deeper into selectivity. It's not just about discomfort. It's about choosing who we think deserves to hear the message.
There was that unnamed speaker who made that incredible confession.
Yes, he admitted to being selective because of some things I've heard about certain races. He said, sometimes I avoid that race, and to my shame.
Wow. That brings us right back to Jonah's original problem, the whole Jew and Gentile thing. He believed salvation was for his people and judgment was for his enemies.
And that's the temptation today, isn't it? The desire to be selective, to want punishment for those who oppose our worldview. That's how we become Jonah.
So the group basically concluded that God's call is universal. Salvation is for everybody.
And if we don't reach out, as they said, there is no way they will be saved, our job is just to go and speak the word.
Which leads to this powerful invitation that YHWH extends to all of us through this story.
It really is an invitation into a life of total dependence and obedience, where we finally get that we are not the one that will get the job done. He is the one.
The facilitator wrapped it all up in this beautiful prayer, asking for three things: complete dependence on God, obedience, that's 100%.
And a teaching to never believe that our opinions or wisdom outweigh God's plan.
It's a move from self-centered justice and fear to God-centered grace and reliance. So this deep dive really shows that Jonah's challenge is still our challenge. It's so easy to critique him for running away.
Well, it's the easiest thing in the world. But it's so much harder to look at our own selective obedience, our own desire to see consequences for others, or our own fear of going where God asks.
Absolutely. So we want to leave you, the listener, with a final, powerful question that builds right on what this group is wrestling with.
Right. They asked what we're struggling to do today, so let's make it more specific. What belief about who deserves consequences, or who is too dangerous or too difficult to approach? What is that belief that is currently preventing you from obeying 100%?
What specific group of people or what intimidating place constitutes your Nineveh?
Something to think about.
Something profound to mull over until our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Salvation belongs to the Lord. In the belly of the beast, in the silence of the grave, I am tangled in the currents, I am sinking in the waves. The weeds are wrapped around my head, the bars are closing in. I'm at the roots of every mountain, paying for my sin. I said I'm driven from your sight, I'm lost beneath the flood. But even in the crushing deep, I'm covered by your blood. The water's closing over me to take away my breath. I reached the very bottom at the iron gates of death. But when my life was fading, when my heart began to fail, I remembered who you are beyond the shadow and the veil. I call out from my distress, and you answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol, you heard my lonely plea. You brought my life up from the pit. You broke the ancient cord. I was shot into the heavens. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Yes, salvation belongs to the Lord. You cast me to the ocean's heart. The tides were your command. Your billows passed right over me, far away from land. The empty idols promise hope and leave the soul to die. They forsake the steadfast love that's fallen from the sky.